Hi, welcome back. We want to again thank our special guest last week, Dixie, for spending some time
That
with
was
us
so
each pod. And
fun.
we're going to have her back. She's got so many great stories.
Yeah. And that was a perfect segue into this episode here that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, tell them what's this episode.
Well, what did we expect? What did we think the world was going to be like when we grew up? Or what did we think the future was going to be like, in 10, 20, 30, 40 years from that period of time we were talking about with Dixie about, women and race and the
Right.
war and everything like that. And then where is the world now?
Where is the world now?
And what happened in between?
Yeah,
So
that's what we're going to find out
yeah,
today.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I don't have a then and now.
And I don't have a then and now.
I guess I was all in the future.
Yeah.
This week.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't have anything to reminisce about on that. Okay, so we have talked a little bit about where we were at that age when we first met, and then first couple of years of when we met, and then I think I was always more cognizant, if you will, of what was. I guess I shouldn't say it, of what was going on.
That word went way over my head.
I meant of what was going on in the world. I was really, I wanted to be right in the middle of it.
You were, like I said, you were definitely the one that was going to stand up for rights. You were the fighter.
I was the fighter, and you were content being in the moment, I think. And
I've just lived in the moment. I think I think I still do. But as I've gotten older, I think that I pay attention more, and I think that I stand up for myself more and for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that part of me maybe is just now coming out.
Well, what did you think at that period of time in our lives? What did you think that peace and love meant? Because we use that a lot. Everything was peace and make love,
everyone
not war.
Was supposed to love each other regardless of race, color, everything.
Yeah.
We were all just human beings, and we should live in peace, and there shouldn't be any, even from country to country, that everyone should get along, and life should be great.
That brings something to mind, because yesterday the Armistice, is that how number 2 splashdown?
Right.
That just happened.
I watched that.
And I think I heard a quote that I think one of the astronauts said, what do you see when you looked out and you saw the Earth? And the answer was, I see one.
That's beautiful.
I see one humanity, one humankind, one, and that's a great way to look at it.
That's the perfect
way to look at it.
Can you imagine what the world would be like if that is the way everybody thought?
But we thought it was going to be. I thought there's no way that we are fighting for what we're fighting for. There's no way that, we're fighting this for women, to end wars, to, we just want to be accepting and loving and everything. There's no way our generation is going to grow up, and that's not the way it's going to be.
And let stuff happen.
And a lot of things changed. Thank goodness. I mean, a lot of things did change for the better and everything, but
some things changed for the worse.
Some things changed for the worse.
Yeah.
But I don't know kind of where we went wrong, or did we go wrong? And that's just maybe unrealistic view, or
maybe each generation has to have their own fight for something.
Well, that's a good point.
We've got to put that on to the new generation needs to take over and look at the changes that are going to take place in their lifetime and how they're going to handle it.
I like that. Actually, I really do, because things are cyclical. Yeah. Right? They really do. So we fought so hard and we made great strides, I think. Look at us.
Yeah.
I mean, professional, successful women with careers.
Right.
Totally financially independent.
Right. That
wasn't, I didn't really know anybody when I was a teenager that was that way.
I didn't think about that, but you're right. I don't think I really did either. Our mothers stayed at home and mine worked later in life when she and Dad had their own business. But when we were little and we were young, I didn't know very many women that worked.
Right, right. So great strides were made in that.
Yeah.
I mean, great. I think from my perspective, of course, I'm probably not qualified to talk about it, but I think we made strides with race equality. I would hope.
Well, we had a Black president, so how can you say we didn't?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Good point. Very good point. But then I know there's still so much more to do. And why? Why is there so much more to do? And why is there still so much hate and judgment? And is it just human nature? Is it just the way humans are after a while? Yeah.
It's got to be. I mean, I don't know any other way to think about it.
But I didn't think that we'd still be talking about things like that.
No, that's true. There's still so much to fight for.
Yeah.
Even with women, there's still a lot. We've come a long way, but we're still not completely equal.
No, and if you get back to the cyclical thing, there's actually been coming full circle again a little bit where, rights are being questioned again, or they're being taken away from you. So
they're true. You look how hard we've, fought for abortion. I mean, I don't want to talk politics by any means.
But that was in 73, wasn't it? 72, 73 that it was passed.
Yes.
Oh, I remember, because it was an important thing to me at being 16 years old.
It was very important. And it was a huge,
that was huge. I won't say not, but it was an option. It was an option.
It was an option that.
And who would have thought, 50 years later they'd be taking it away?
That we're back to we're back to square one.
The women can't say.
I feel sorry for that. I hate that for my granddaughter.
Yeah.
I just I want her to have I want her to have the choice.
Right.
I want her to know that she she has a choice,
right.
And I'm good. And in fact, she and I've actually had discussions, and I've really shared something and told her, I said, I love you, and I love you totally unconditionally.
Right.
And if it would ever come to that or whatever, you have my
you'll be there
telling
for
you
her.
It's okay, but I'll be there. You don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to hide it. Mm-hmm. You just need to tell me I love you no matter what, and I'm going to be there for you.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful, and what a great comfort to her.
Yeah,
to have that kind of support in your corner. Because I don't, what? When we think back on that,
it was shameful. It was really.
It was very shameful.
It's something you didn't. If you didn't share it. It made you feel horrible about yourself. It was just. It was. Yeah. It was something you certainly didn't tell anyone.
Right. Exactly.
You didn't share it.
Right.
And it was, very sad.
But that brings up a good point of women. I know you're talking about you and your granddaughter, and I feel the same way with my daughter or a friend, no matter what it is. Women support women.
Right.
That's so important. And I think back, there were times when Jonathan and I had first started dating, and I was so young and stuff, and I couldn't talk to my mom. So I confided in your mom.
Well, I'm glad you had somebody to talk to, because she didn't talk to
her. But
I wouldn't have felt comfortable. She probably would be much more comfortable giving you than she would.
But I think, that does that takes out the mother-daughter dynamic,
right.
though. But she was there for me.
Yeah.
Your mom, we had several intimate conversations,
right.
So... But that goes back to, us
As for
supporting
me,
each
though,
other.
I'm still waiting on the book that she was going to give me when I asked her about how babies came.
I know.
She says, I'm going to get you a book.
I know. You're still waiting on it.
To this day, I haven't seen the back book.
My mom didn't tell me either. So, I remember asking my mom, how do babies look like their dad when it's the mom having them? And I think she was cooking dinner. I probably shouldn't have asked her when she was cooking dinner. It wasn't the best time, she was like, we'll talk about that some other time. And we never did. So,
yeah. And I had boys. So it was really, when that moment came along, it was so funny. I remember that my nephew informed my oldest son.
What happens?
Yes.
Okay.
And I asked Adam, I was trying to be open and do the things that my mom didn't want me to do. And I remember I didn't get a book, but I did go to the library and I got a video.
Oh, and I video.
And I said,
is that called porn or what?
No, I think they did it tastefully. Okay. The only thing is, it didn't end very tastefully because. So after it was over, I said, "Now, you've seen this. Do you have any questions?" And he looked at me and he says, Well, Brian got it kind of right. Oh, he just had the wrong hole.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry for that, but I mean, as a mother,
it's true.
But can you imagine? I said, well, do you understand now? Do we have this down right?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah. And then he never asked me another question about it. And he was so serious when he said it. I mean, he took it serious.
Wow. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I made sure I took that video back to the library the next day. I didn't want that thing. I didn't want it laying around.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah, I do. I do. Well, how did you tell your kids about this?
No,
we're getting off the subject, but
we are getting off the subject,
but,
and I hate this because, my ex-husband, the father of my children, he talked to our son, so I wasn't. I felt the same way. Always, I'm going to be open. I'm going to be honest. I mean, it's a whole different story. But I even told them the story of Santa Claus. Not that Santa Claus was real, So I was always just going to be honest with my kids. I was going to tell them the truth. I wasn't going to make some stuff up. So anyway, he talked to my son, and then I thought I had plenty of time with my daughter. We were open. I thought we had a good relationship and everything like that. And then you start thinking, well, when is it going to come up that we're going to talk about this? But like 11 years old, she's already, already hit puberty. And it took me by surprise. I wasn't ready. So I feel like I really did not succeed in that at all.
Well, when I was probably about, I guess, I don't know, 10 or 12, I remember being on the front porch, and the little girl, my best friend at the time, across the street, her mother told her.
Oh, okay.
And she couldn't wait to get over to give us to give us her in education. So that's how I found out.
Okay.
No book.
Okay.
No book. Just
yeah. Oh, I think by the time we got together, we knew it all. We thought.
Well, I know you did.
I'm
sorry, I'm kidding. I think you taught me a few good things, Lou. Ask you.
Oh my goodness.
No, we did fine.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the things on how things. But you know what? Actually, that is part of how things change. Now I think that everything's more open. They teach it in school.
Yeah. Well, we had films, I think, when I was in elementary school, or maybe it was, I guess it was 6th grade or something like that. But that's the thing.
I mean, we did in health. They had health about it.
Yeah. I was such a late bloomer that I was almost 14 years old.
Well, I was almost 40. I was almost 40.
Well, when puberty and
really late.
You
2 kids.
Start your period and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I was almost 14, and I don't know.
But now the kids, when they're young people with all the stuff, they start really young.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My daughter, she surprised me because it was like years before. I thought I had a year or two, at least. So anyway, so that's kind of a regret for me that I didn't go into it like I thought I would. Totally, eyes open and handle it the way that I thought that I would have.
But it just, like I said, again, it goes back to the way things were, the way things are today.
Yeah, I guess so. So what do you think? I don't know. Do you worry now that we're older and we see things changing, maybe back and rights being taken away? I mean,
this is going to sound just horrible because I'm not the fighter you are.
Yeah,
and sometimes I sit and I take life a day at a time, and I'm kind of bad about. Well, as long as it doesn't affect me now, they can worry. The other next generation can worry about it.
Yeah, but you have grandkids, so
yeah, they can worry about it.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
It's up to them. It's up to them to change the world.
Yeah,
and to do what they want to do. I just don't have the.
You don't have the
energy,
fight or
and I
desire.
don't
Yeah.
have the. Yeah, and I hate that I don't.
Yeah.
But I think I have more fight now than I did, than I used to, because now, yeah, something's gonna happen. Our laws get changed.
Yeah.
And thing. I'm gonna especially with women's rights and things. I will definitely be out there standing up, and I'd go out, stand up, hold
Yeah,
my
I
sign,
come by and pick you up in my little red Maverick.
That's
and take
right.
You.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Well, too, and you're saying that maybe certain things aren't directly affecting you, but what if it all of a sudden is about Social Security or Medicare?
Then I'll be the first one up,
right.
the first one in line,
right.
the first one, yeah.
Which I think that's just natural, right?
Right.
What's affecting
But I think if it affected my kids, I would fight just as hard.
Oh yeah. Well, you already talked about your granddaughter.
Right. Yeah. If it was something that I thought that I had control over, or I could make it better.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely.
Yeah.
Would be definitely out there fighting.
And I think it's so easy to get, and I hear this from friends and family. It's so easy to get frustrated and just throw your hands up and say, I'm just not going to do anything because it's not going to make a difference.
Right.
And I can't do that. I get frustrated,
right.
And I think, what's it going to do, or what's it going to help, or whatever. But I can't be silent. And yeah,
you're a fighter. Like I said, you're a fighter. You're a strong fighter.
Yeah. And I think that came from my dad, although it was a different generation.
Right.
I do have one little funny story, because my dad was always very involved. He was like precinct chairman of our little, and always, get out there and vote, and always getting involved in everything. My mom hated it, but Dad was always involved, and nobody else did it with him from the family. It was me. So I hung out with my dad a lot. And I remember, I guess this was 1964, and I didn't know. My dad was conservative. So it was Barry Goldwater running for president.
Oh,
I think it was 1964. And was it against? No, it wasn't against. It would have been
Nixon.
No, before then. Maybe LBJ. It was after Kennedy was assassinated. Oh, we should touch base on this.
Oh,
yeah. But anyway, so I went out, and my dad had all these Barry Goldwater signs, and I took them and I passed them out to all the neighborhood kids. Because in that day,
right.
your neighbor, there was probably 10 of you.
Yeah.
That you wake up in the morning, you go play, you hang out all. So I gave everybody a Barry Goldwater sign and marched around the block. My parents, and then me, of course, got in so much trouble because all of our neighbors were Democrats.
Oh.
So it was like, what are you doing? So I got in trouble for doing that, but it didn't stop me. Stop me from, whether it's a protest or it's a march or whatever it is. So, but that was one funny story. That brought up, and we're kind of getting off. We do that though. We get off tangent. We go on a different tangent sometimes. But do you remember when JFK was assassinated?
I totally remember.
Me too. Tell your story.
I was in kindergarten, and
no, you were not.
Yes, I was in kindergarten.
I was in first grade.
But I see. That's kind of how I got. Okay, this is a new story. This is how.
Sorry. Are you sure?
This is how I jumped twice. Okay. I was young going into kindergarten. You can go to kindergarten really young then. Okay? So thank God when I had to repeat kindergarten again.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I had to repeat.
If you saw our first podcast, the introduction, you would understand why this is hilarious.
So I had to repeat kindergarten again. I wasn't the brightest one on the block, okay? So, but I remember it was my first year. My first year of kindergarten. My first year of kindergarten. And I remember the teachers talking, and then they came on the loudspeaker, and I can remember because I really didn't know what was really going on. And I remember they got the TV and they brought a TV into the classroom.
Yep.
And I remember all the teachers were just crying and sobbing.
Yeah.
And I remember I started just, I hate to even say I did this, but I started kind of faking crying. I didn't know why everybody was crying,
Yeah,
but I
sure.
felt like I should be a part of it.
Well, you're in your first year of kindergarten.
Yeah, it was my first year
Oh my
in
goodness.
kindergarten, so I had to.
Okay.
I really didn't, but then I remember watching it. I think it was on black and white TV,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember that it was on a Saturday is when they did the burial or whatever they did, and it was interrupting cartoons. So I mean, I really didn't have I didn't really have full understanding.
No,
but do you know that,
not.
that years later, my mom and I wish I still had it. That my mom kept the newspaper from that morning, and I remember when we'd be in the attic, digging through stuff, we'd always see the newspaper, and we'd gone to, I can't think of the store. It may have been over at Watson's in downtown Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
They had just got in these dolls, and it was of John F. Kennedy rocking in a rocking chair, and that happened, and they were going to have to send them all back, but they let my mom buy one. And she bought one, and I think we had it for years.
You don't have it anymore?
No, wish I did. Yeah,
yeah.
And it played a song. I don't know if it was his favorite song or whatever. But yeah, they were going to have to send them back after that.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I was in first grade.
Okay.
At Catholic school.
Oh, that's right. You go to Catholic school.
Yeah, and I remember we were at recess, and the nuns. This is back, I don't know how it is now, but we had nuns, called us all back into the classroom, said the president's been shot, we're going to mass, you get down on your knees and you pray, and left this first grade class alone. And I was kind of like you, I didn't really understand what was going on, but I did know, and I hate to say this, I did know that my parents were not Democrats, so it was like, what am I supposed to do? I know it was horrible, but that's what you're thinking of when you're a child, right? You're trying to make sense of it. And I remember one girl was like choking herself, and I just weird stuff.
I remember just I was asking a younger girl at work, and we were all just talking, and I said, "Well, where were you when John F. Kennedy got shot?" She goes, "Oh, I wasn't born yet." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, that's and that's
because it didn't register. I mean, I thought everybody knows where you're
right.
Or no, it wasn't. I apologize. That was at 9/11. I'd ask her that.
Oh, I was going to say,
and she
hadn't been born yet. Okay,
yeah.
But yeah, every generation
has those catastrophes that.
Well, we had JFK, we had Martin Luther King, we had Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
And then we had Nixon, Watergate, all that. Watch out! Do you remember my roach clip I had?
You had so many.
Oh, I had a roach clip.
Let me guess. It had a marijuana leaf on it.
No, it had Richard Nixon's.
Oh, okay.
It was his head, and then the roach clip, and it was like impeach Nixon. So that's kind of full circle from my Barry Goldwater.
Your first,
right.
Protest.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, that, and then 9/11.
Yeah,
our kids had 9/11. So,
I remember on 9/11. I remember that one. I was watching TV. No,
you were out of school, right?
Yes, I was out of school. I had completed. Best I could. But anyway, I remember I was dating a guy, and he was down in Houston. He called me, and he said something's happened. He worked for the government, actually, and he said something on TV, and I turned the TV on, and it was showing the towers. And I called my dad immediately, and my dad picked up the phone, and we're on the phone together because he actually had court that day. That he did things with the foreclosure companies. They had a business, so he was in court a lot. So, and we were both on the phone together, and at the same time, we both said, "Oh my God!" And we saw when the second plane hit.
That's still surreal, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I remember, Michael, my younger son, was working downtown Dallas at Southwestern Bell, and they evacuated the building and sent everybody home.
Yeah, we went home from work too.
Yeah. It was just absolutely. Yeah. But then you remember when they had the what was the first? It was actually the first war that really was basically fought out on TV. What was it with the with Hassan Hussein or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember that. And I remember everybody gathering around the TV at work, and we all would
Desert
watch it every
Storm.
day. Desert
So,
Storm, that was it. Yeah, they said it was the very first one that they were on the ground. And it's sad. I hate to see our country fall back into that. It's just
and it goes back to why can't we just be
all
one?
get along.
Yeah, why can't we just get along? And it's just a lot of it's just common sense, right? I mean, why can't we just get along?
Yeah.
Why can't we just, take care of our planet,
We're all
take care of each
human.
other?
We're all born, we all die.
Right.
I mean, why can't we just live our, it just takes a few bad seeds to, to just tear everything up.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
I'll tell you, that's pretty
goodness,
heavy.
so it got heavy again. It wasn't supposed to be.
No.
It was all going to be peace and love. And I think maybe next time maybe we'll revisit some with Dixie a little bit and get some more stories.
I think that's great. She's such a great
not just
guest.
the stories too, but also we've talked about
her perspective on things in life and what she's seen. And I was so surprised and love the fact that, like I said, here she's 92 and she was, like I said, a hippie before hippies were cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the neatest thing.
That is.
I really like that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us today, and be sure and subscribe and like, and we'll see you next week, and we'll have some more Dixie stories going on.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye.